When all these crises are besetting human beings around you, you can look at the dog and feel more sympathetic on another level. But I'm sure the dog will be happy to curl up with her mistress, some comfortable place, some safe place, okay? All right, let's begin the service on page 13. First, we'll light candles. Alan, would you honor us by lighting candles? Oh, please rise.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. We have a lot of friends who feel the same way.
I'm used to matches.
I believe it. I roll it.
We're very high tech.
Okay. Roll it forward, pull the trigger. And I have to do it. Okay, now we wave our hands over the candles, bringing Shabbat and the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, b'mitzvotav. Vitzivanu, vitzivanu, lahadlik ner, vitzivanu, vitzivanu, hadlik ner, vitzivanu, vitzivanu, hadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Amen. Masha Koach, good Shabbos. Thank you so much. Great to see you. All right. Shabbos. Please be seated. And we have the tune. Da, 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 da. Yes? Okay. Trust me, we've done it before. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 lai. Achuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We'll continue now. Page 14 on the left-hand side. And so on. Soul made loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you, before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary, yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 Page 15. Lechu liranina, lechu liranina, lechu ranina l'Adonai. Lechu liranina, lechu liranina, lechu liranina l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Litzuri Shenu, Nikadma Fana Bitoda. Naria, Naria, Litzuri Shenu, Izmirot Naria Lo. Lechu Niranina, Lechu Niranina, Lechu Niranina l'Adonai. Lechu Niranina, Lechu Niranina, Lechu Niranina l'Adonai. All right, let's read responsively on page, at the left-hand page 15. We'll start, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 stanzas from the top. We'll read this first one together. Let us worship. Let us worship Adonai, exalt our Creator, our God. We are the flock guided by God. Help is ours even today, if only we would listen to the divine voice. Harden not your heart in the way of your ancestors, who tried and tested me in the wilderness, even though they had witnessed my miracles. 40 years of contending with that generation led me to say, they are wayward, they care not for my ways. In indignation, therefore, did I vow, never would they reach my land, the land of peace, the land of rest. It's kind of a vindictive psalm, and I always wonder why we start the Friday night psalms with that one. The truth is, there was the Dor HaYetziah, that is the generation of the Exodus. They left Egypt led by God and Moses, but they didn't survive. They were condemned to die in the wilderness, and a new generation, the Dor HaMidbar, that is the wilderness generation, took over. But I don't know. I think it all comes down to that God in the Hebrew Bible has a very short fuse. You don't mess with this God. It's I'm glad the situation has changed since then, but of course we can debate about it. So anyway, let's move on. Yes. All right, page 17. This particular psalm has good memories for me when I was in Hebrew school. You'll notice that third stanza, God's lightning illumines the earth, fire consumes God's foes, mountains melt like wax before Adonai, the earth trembles. The rabbi asked what that meant, and one kid raised his hand, and he said, God's anger is like hot wax. So that's where you take the divine anger and you translate it into something that you get in a drive-through car wash. So I like that. I also like the Polish wax. Have you seen the Polish wax? Okay. All right, let's take it from the last 4 stanzas. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Together, those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the faithful and saves them from the wicked. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Acclaim the holiness of God's name. Okay, let's pick it up from the Lecha Dodi on page 21. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekavela. Keep and remember we're uttered as one by our Creator beyond comparison. Adonai is one, His name is one, reflected in glory, in fame and in praise. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Hinei Shabbat Nikabila. Come, let us greet Shabbat, Queen sublime, fountain of blessings in every clime, anointed and regal since earliest time. In Shabbat she precede creation 6 days. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Hinei Shabbat Nikabila. Page 22, the 4th stanza. Please rise and face the door through which the Sabbath Queen will enter. Bohi v'shalom ha'teret bala, kam b'simcha u'tzala, tochen unei am sigula, bohi chala, lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabila. Please be seated. Page 23. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. And the last 2 lines. Oyev meseva yeshenim rananim yu laki kyoshor Adonai suri v'lavlataho. All right, at this time I'll speak about the Torah portion, the Parshat HaShavua, the Torah portion of the week, which is named Vayishlach, meaning and he sent. What's happening here is that after 20 years living in the village of Haran, which is the hometown both of his wives Rachel and Leah, and also his good-for-nothing father-in-law Lavan, Jacob feels that the situation has gotten cold, that is better, between him and Esav. Esav had sworn that he would kill Jacob, but now Jacob feels that it's safe. Plus, he sends forward messengers in front of him. It says, Vayishlach malachim lefanav, and Jacob sent messengers before him. The Hebrew word malach also means an angel. So whether Jacob had mastery of the angels of heaven, I have no idea, but he did send them forward, and they came back, and they said, your brother Esav is coming to meet you. And Jacob said, isn't that nice? And he has 400 armed men with him. That's the part that isn't so nice. Jacob is not really much of a warrior. He's got a shepherd's crook. He may have a sword tucked into the baggage somewhere, but he's not from the fighters. Instead, when they were growing up, and Esav was ravaging nature and storming through the forest in search of Bambi and Thumper, Jacob was supposedly studying in yeshiva. That was the Yeshivat Shem ve'Ever, the yeshiva that was founded by Shem, who is the son of Noah and the father of the Semites, which is us, and Aver, which is the root for the Hebrew word Ivri, or Hebrew. So he found himself a yeshiva, except for several things. There's no Torah yet, there's no Talmud, there are no rabbinical commentaries. What on earth was he going to study in this yeshiva? But you see, the rabbis who comment on the verse really go to town with this sort of thing. They say, Abraham kept kosher, Jacob studied in the yeshiva, Esav early on rebelled, and so on. But at this point, we know for sure that Jacob is on his way home. He's got the 2 wives, the 2 concubines. He's got 12 sons and 1 daughter. He's got a very suitable encampment for anyone who wants to come along and do them harm. So he immediately starts thinking. If you remember the movie Duddy Kravitz with Richard Dreyfuss many years ago, that's Jacob. I always identify Jacob with Duddy Kravitz. He's an opportunist. Even farther back, there was What Makes Sammy Run, which was written by Bud Schulberg, and that was the same idea. This up-and-coming young Jewish boy who wants everything today or yesterday, and he's not a very respectable character. Well, that's Jacob. Jacob is the father of them all. So Jacob has a problem here. He doesn't want to fight Esau. Esau is easily the better warrior, but Jacob's got to make some kind of show. So what he does is, first and foremost, he knows Esau appreciates a nice gift. Who doesn't appreciate a nice gift? But his gift is very shepherdy. He gets him some camels, some donkeys, some sheep, some goats, anything else he can pick up and dust them off. He puts them in front of him. This way, Esau will see them coming, and you spread them out. This is exactly what happened when my mother had the sisterhood chapter at the house to play mahjong, and she had bought some bridge mix. Everybody loves bridge mix because you can't tell what you're going to bite until you put it in your mouth. And I helped myself to some of the bridge mix. And my mother came in, gave a little scream, and said, "What happened to the bridge mix?" I said, "I guess I happened to the bridge mix." She says, spread it out, you see? So whether it's bridge mix or a cattle gift for your strange brother, always spread it out. That's what they do. Next, he's got to look out for number one. Who's the favorite wife? Starts with an R and rhymes with Shmeshel. Very good, Rachel. And he puts her way in the back. She has one little boy, she has Joseph. In the front, he puts Bilhah. Bilhah is a concubine. Concubines are, you can always get another one. It's like, I don't know, going and exchanging a bottle back in the day. That's very mean, I take it back. She was a nice person, Bilhah. We don't know anything about her, except her name. Bilhah had her children, puts her in the front. Then you spread it out a little bit, do the bridge mix. Then you've got Zilpah, who's the other concubine, and then behind that you put Leah. Leah is the most prolific of all, because what happened is God is punishing poor Rachel for being the favorite, and he's rewarding Leah for being the hasnuah, the one who isn't liked. And at the very back he puts Rachel and Joseph, and then he's got to be by himself. There's no way he can accompany all four of them. He's got to look out for number one. Don't forget, he's scared to death of what Esau could possibly do to him. And he sees them going, the dust cloud follows them, and he's all alone. At this point, he crosses the river Yabok. The Yabok is his moment of judgment. It's the same thing as when Julius Caesar decided he was going to cross the Rubicon and become the Caesar. He was not going to be the consul general of Rome. Instead, he was going to become the all absolute power Caesar. And he crossed the Rubicon at that point. In this case, Jacob crosses the Yabok. It means this is a decision from which there is no turning back. And the night falls, and an angel wrestles with Jacob until the break of dawn. It doesn't even call him an angel in the text. It just says, and he, and he, and he, referring to Jacob, referring to this mysterious other. The rabbis went to town with their opinions about this creature. Maybe it was the spirit of Esau that was determined to destroy Jacob. Maybe it was the spirit, because in those days they didn't have science. And he's by a body of water, don't forget. What happens in the desert from the heat after the sun goes down and the water cools?
You have vapor.
Yes, exactly. You have water vapor which rises from the surface of the water. It's a pre-scientific society, so they assume it's an evil spirit. They believe that evil spirits lived in the water. So that's another possibility. And it goes on and on. But finally, the angel or whomever says to him, "Let me go, for the day is breaking." And what Jacob has done is he got the angel in a headlock, because Jacob was all county a few years before, and he got a trophy for wrestling, which is very unusual for a Jewish boy. But The angel says, let me go, the dawn is breaking. And he says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And the angel says, why should I bless you? Meaning, I am you. I can't bless myself. But he says, your name will no longer be Jacob, your name will be Yisrael, Israel, which means he who wrestles with God. For you have wrestled with God and with man, and you have prevailed. And Jacob says in exchange to the angel, tell me your name. And the angel says, you must not ask my name. And he flies away. It's not in the text. That stuff is not in the text. Now, why wouldn't the angel tell Jacob his name? It's the Rumpelstiltskin thing. If you know the name of the demon or the angel, you can control it. And it's the same thing in Rumpelstiltskin, where the poor girl spins straw into gold with the help of the little man. And then later on, she says, tell me your name. And he won't tell her his name because she wants to control him. Maybe she wants to spin some more straw. But in the end, a huntsman working for the king goes into the forest and sees a little man dancing around a pot. And the little man is singing a song. Today I bake, tomorrow I brew. Today for one, tomorrow for two. But how should she know, that poor royal dame, that Rumpelstiltskin is my name? Because again, you aren't able to control these creatures. They were convinced that there were spirits, good and bad, all over the place. Well, you know how it is. You know, the night before the job interview, the night before the big exam, the night before whatever it is, you're scared to death, and then you go, and it isn't so bad. It's the same thing here. Jacob's walking along. He meets his brother Esav, and Esav is loaded with weaponry, knives, and a knife in his boot, and a sword in his hip, and so on and so forth. And Esav runs to him and grabs him and kisses him right on the neck. And there's a theory, again, one of those rabbis, that Esav maybe was trying to do something evil to Jacob, but or at least give him a hickey. So he says, Esav says, what are all these things? What are all these animals? And Jacob says, it's the present which I, your servant, are giving to my Lord. He says, don't call me my Lord. He doesn't say that either. It's not in the text. But the other stuff with my Lord is in the text. He says, let's walk along together. And Jacob says, that's all right. You go ahead. I'll catch up. And he never sees him again. They get together when Isaac dies to bury him, but he never sees him again. And that has become the rivalry between Jacob and Esau. Esau becomes Edom, which is the Edomites, which means red or bloody. And they have become sort of a stand-in for all the enemies of the Jews throughout history. It's quite a thing. Any questions? Any comments? Well, like I say, I love this stuff. It's all the detail. Oh, and I see Isaac dies. He was 180. Well, let him rest in peace.
Sudden.
Because he ate a lot of fiber. Okay. We've got the Baruch Hu on page 28, and I'm going to ask the Harrows to come up, please, and open the ark. Oh, please rise. Bow towards the ark. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Amen. Okay, thank you very much. Please be seated. Let's read the paragraph above the line on the left hand, 28. Praise to you. Praise to you, Adonai our God, who rules the universe, your word bringing the evening dusk. You opened with wisdom the gates of dawn, designed the day with wondrous skill, set out the succession of seasons, and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai Tzebaot, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praise to you, Adonai, for each evening's dusk. Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavim. Amen. On 29, the bottom left, we're going to think about our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel and pray for their safety. Your love has embraced us always. The bottom right on page 29. Your love has embraced us always in wilderness and promised land, in good times and in bad. Night and day your Torah sustains us, reviving the spirit, delighting the heart, informing the soul, opening the eyes, granting us a glimpse of eternity. You shall embrace Torah night and day, in devotion and delight. Beloved are you, Adonai, whose Torah reflects your love. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisroel. Amen. Page 30 is the Shema. We cover the eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Voed. On the left-hand side in the English, you shall love. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children, and recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue now with the Mir Chamocha on page 32. It's transliterated on the left. Mir Chamocha Vahelim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedor Ba'kodesh, Nora Tilot, Osef Ele, Malchut Harovanecha, Lokayam Lifnei Moshe, Seili Anu V'Yamru, Adonai Yimloch, Le'olam Voed, V'nemar, Kifat Adonai et Yaakov, U'gialo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Go'al Yisroel. Amen. On 33, the top left-hand paragraph, which we say for the Cholim, the folks who are not well. Any names? I have a list here, yes.
David Carl
Refuah Shlema,
and George Rosiski.
Refuah Shlema. Yes.
Joel Luhar, Sheila Bergman.
Refuah Shlema. Yes.
Wyatt Bedore.
Refuah Shlema.
Susan Newhouse.
Refuah Shlema. All right. I'll read the names. Baby Ella Rose, Refuah Shlema. Jeffrey Stern, Refuah Shlema. Rachel Spearer, Refuah Shlema. Vince and Patricia Massey, Refuah Shlema. Susan Cohen, Refuah Shlema. Eleanor Kirshner, Refuah Shlema. Let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, V'al kol amo Yisroel, V'al Yerushalayim, El Kol Haolam Kulo. Amen. 34, the Vishamru. Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam. Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam. Eini u'bein b'nei Yisrael Oti li'olam, Oti li'olam, Oti li'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam. Please rise, half Kaddish. Yitkada v'yitkada Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yilmad yivrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomeichon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisroel. Agala, agala, uv'zman karib, v'yimeru, Amen. Yeheshmei Hamivarach Li'olam Me'omaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yitbar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh Yitadar Yitaleh Yitalal Shemei Dekudisha Brichu Li'ela In Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nehemata tamiran v'alema v'meru. Amen. The Amidah, the standing silent prayer, 35b to 38, after which you may be seated. On page 47, the paragraph is well known. The tune I'm going to use is really a leftover from the 1973 war, which at the time we thought was the worst conflict Israel ever engaged in. It went so far as for Moshe Dayan, the great military hero. He had served as chief of staff, he had served as minister of defense, he had worked his way up through the ranks, and he got the message to Golda Meir, the prime minister: the third temple has fallen, which was code for we have to use the atomic bomb. Luckily she did not, and we're here to tell the tale. But I'm going to sing the Vayachulu to that tune as a way of reminding us that we have faced terrible dangers and we have survived. It's Vayachulu. It's transliterated, it's the second paragraph. And the tune goes like this. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivaham vayichal Elohim ayom hashevi melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashevi Mikol melachto asher asa Vayivarech Elohim et yom hashevi et yom hashevi vayikadesh otam hivo shavat mikol melachto Mikol melachto, hivo shavat, mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim laso. The full Kaddish on page 48. Yikra v'yikra shemei rabba, amen. Yalmad yivrach yerutei v'yamliach malchutei. V'chayechon v'mechon v'chayrechol Beit Yisrael Magalav v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach Li'olam li'ol me'ol maya Yitbarach Barach v'yishkavach v'yitpoar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalol shmei l'kudesha Baruchu Li'elam in kol brachata v'shirata Vishpata v'nechamata Namiran v'yama v'yimru Amen Titkabal tzlo tonu v'oton d'chol Yisrael Kedem avon v'shmaya v'yimru Amen Yehi shalom araba min shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen U'useh shalom b'mromav U'yaseh shalom aleinu V'al kol Yisrael Imru, Amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol yoshvei tevel. Imru, Amen. Page 49 is the Kiddush for Shabbat.
Wine or juice?
Wine.
The orange.
Thank you.
Juice. Thank you.
Wine and juice.
Which one's
The orange.
Ooh, color code.
Otherwise, we used to
What's the
forget.
blue?
Let's be creative.
And the green.
Yeah, I make them
Oh,
fun,
yeah, I'm
so I'll
using that
remember.
for Torah.
Oh, hi.
Wine,
Yeah, isn't it good? Thank you. Size matters.
wine,
Okay.
juice.
They do this in the Torah, walking around and say wine juice, wine juice.
I don't think so. But they probably did. How are people gonna get their shoes?
That's right.
Okay, here we go. Page 49. Savrimon and Rabbanan Rabbatai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei pri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, B'Shabbat kodsho b'Ahava, V'ratzon enchilanu, Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, Ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'ei kodesh, Zecher l'yetziat Mitzrayim, Kivan v'harta, Tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, Shabbat kodshecha, Yava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim v'shalom av simchas. Very good.
Good vintage.
Now, Yolenu, page 51. The ark has to be open. We'll ask the Honan family to do that, please. Yeah, thanks. Aleinu l'shabeach ladun hakol, ate gedula liyotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu tishbechot adama, shelo sam elkeinu kahem, v'gorolenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato, Kakatu B'Torato, Yadata Hayam Hashevota Elevavecha, Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Imal, V'Aretz Haaretz mitachatenu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. The curtain is closed. Thank you very much. Yasher Koach. Mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to ask everyone to please remain standing for this Kaddish, as we have been doing in memory of those who lost their lives during the latest depredations. 52. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad yivrach yerutei v'yamlich machutei. V'chayei chon v'mecha Chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Agalav Izman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Ulmeil Maya. Yiporach, Yishtabach, Yipoar, Yitromam Naseh, Yitadar, Yitale, Yitalal, Shemei Dekudisha B'richu, Yi'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechamata, Ta'amiran B'yalma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya, Chayim Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael v'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel v'yimru Amen. Please be seated. Now, hope Paul will tell Rita how much we missed her, and their daughter Liz is in town, and they're having a good time entertaining her. All right, I did want to say my group is going to meet tomorrow. Of course, we do have services. Cantor will be here, and we'll start, of course, at 9:30 and hopefully shoot for noon, after which we'll have a sumptuous kiddush, and also afterwards we'll have my discussion group, and we've been having very good luck with that book that suggests topics for discussions, and thank God we have folks who have opinions, so it all seems to balance out nicely. I wanted to say also that, sorry, it's a lunch tomorrow, that's even better. Okay. That Enbeth and I are donating this 80-pound chai,
We're
because
okay.
I'm going to be using it in the Torah to hold my place. And it may hold my place, it may slide around. One never knows with chai. Okay? But you know, there's certain parts of Florida where they put these on a chain and they wear them around their necks. So, okay. All right, any questions, comments? Here we go. Let's do the Adon Olam. For those of us who have fond memories of the Lone Ranger, the late great Bill Boyd.
You're thinking
was
that Bill Boyd was Hopalong Cassidy.
Oh my God. So who was the Lone Ranger? See, that was the thing. You didn't know who the Lone Ranger was.
On radio, it was Brace Beamer.
Brace Beamer. Was he a contractor?
No,
I know.
Clayton Moore.
Clayton
Clayton.
Moore.
Thank you.
They call it.
All right. Well, anyway, whoever he was,
Tonto was Jay Silverhead.
Jay Silverheels, yes. And Tonto's job was to go and get the silver bullets that the Ranger fired. Okay, because they were expensive. And don't forget. Adon Olam asher balach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, yid nasa b'chefzo kol azay v'lech shemo nikra, acharei kichlot hakol, v'vado yimloch no ra, hu haya v'hu hove v'hu yeh b'tifara, hu echad v'yen sheni lehamshilo lehachbira, v'li reshit v'li taklit, v'lo haoz v'hamisra, hu eli v'chai goali, tzorchev li v'yetzara, Unisiu Marasli, Minat Kosi Biomekra, Biyodo of Kidruchi, Bieti Shan Viahira, Imruchi Giviati, Adonai Leviloira, Hayo Silver, away! Okay. Yes, we got it. Okay, please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn His face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Special thanks to our own Doreen over there on the boards. Okay, thank you very much. Shabbat shalom.
We're in the rotunda.
The rotunda, yes.
Hi, Paul.